Hey everybody, welcome back to Outdoors with Casey. Today's video is going to be sponsored again by Pedal Outdoors out of Pedal, Mississippi. Y'all know that they've been sponsoring my channel for a while now, and I am proud to have them on board. They have been a blessing to me and my family. Y'all have heard numerous times me talk about what they have in the store. They're not just guns, they're not just ammo, and they have plenty of that stuff. They're not just fishing and fishing lures, and they got plenty of that stuff. They've got hunting clothes, they've got hunting gear. They have outdoor power supplies with brands such as Skag and Hustler and Steel. They have an in-house mechanic. But today we're talking about traps. And yes, Pedal Outdoors also sells traps. They have your barrel traps like this. They have live traps. They have coyote trap. I think they had some in there the other day, looked like went up to a number 6, number 7, which is big enough to catch beaver. I can't remember seeing any cone bear traps there, but I'm sure they got them or can get them for you. But that brings us to today's video. We're going to talk about raccoon trapping and raccoon trapping for beginners, mainly. I'm not trying to be the expert trapper. I did trap for a period of time of about 5 years full time. Most of it was coyote trapping, which I did do a good bit of coon trapping and beaver trapping. But we're gonna go, today's video is gonna be trap choice and bait choice. I'm gonna break this up into 2 parts. First we're gonna cover today is traps and bait. The second part of the video, I'll show you setting the line, show you how to bait the traps, how to set the traps, what to look for. But I'm trying to target beginner raccoon trappers, and you may ask, why raccoon trapping? Well, there's a ton of reasons to trap raccoons. Even for people who don't hunt. Raccoons get everywhere, including garbage cans, attics, garage spaces. If they smell food or can get to a warm place, they're coming in. So that's one reason you may not even hunt, period. But that'd be one reason to trap a raccoon. Another reason is most hunters is because they're eating your corn out of your deer feeders. That's why most hunters trap. If you're a turkey hunter, you're gonna want to trap because it's gonna save turkeys' lives. Raccoons and possums are nest raiders, which means they raid the nest and eat the eggs. So before that bird or animal even has a chance to being born, they kill them. In fact, an interesting story is one of the only predators the American alligator has besides human is a raccoon. The American alligator comes up on land, builds a nest, she lays her eggs, covers it up, goes back. Yes, she sits and watches, but she can't be there full time. Raccoons come in, dig them up, eat the eggs. So a lot of people don't know that, but there's a ton of reasons. Plus, it's a predator. All predators, all animals need to be kept in check. And like I said, one of the only predators a raccoon has is a human. I mean, coyotes may pick off some young ones here and there, but they can climb the trees and get away from them. So there's not a whole lot of predators for raccoons. So we got to do our part to keep them in check. And especially, like I said, if you're turkey hunting, that's the main reason I do it, because I want to take out as many raccoons as possible. I don't want to wipe them out. They have their place. I don't want to wipe them out, but I want the turkeys to have a chance because I love turkey hunting. All right, so what kind of traps do you need? Well, if you're starting out, and another thing, this is great to take your kids on. I got my little buddy right here, Sawyer. Maggie's here with us this weekend. They love trapping. You can take these kids out. They can hammer in stakes. They can play in mud puddles with their boots. They can talk and make noise. They don't have to be quiet. It can be a fun time. They can set the traps themselves and come back and see the result of them catching something. Makes them feel like they've done something. It's just a great way to introduce kids to the outdoors. So let's get into traps. All right, guys. The number one trap choice I think today is these DPs. It's called DP because it's dog proof. This little hole right here, a dog cannot get its paw down in there. A raccoon can. and it's got a trigger right here, and you set your bait up under the trigger. You push that in, and it's got a little inset in there, and latch it down. And the raccoon has to stick its paw down in there and pull up on that trigger to trip it. A dog can't do that. Cat can't get in there and do that. So these are safe to use in neighborhoods and around a place where you got a bunch of dogs. If you're at a camp that's got a bunch of dogs or something, these are a good choice. They're easy to set. They're relatively cheap. I think you can get a dozen somewhere between $180, $200. So and they're quick and easy to set out too. So that's the primary choice that I use. Next is going to be the live trap. These are good around garbage cans, dumpsters, attics, garages. These are good also in the woods. I like to use them around feeders because I catch a lot more around feeders and live traps because the food's already on the ground, which is how you use these, because you put it in the back as opposed to using these DPs and the food's inside the trap. I don't know, it's kind of sounds weird, but it's more natural with the corn being on the ground. Now I do catch, not saying that I don't catch coons around feeders with these DPs, but I have a better success rate with the live trap. What I've noticed with the live trap, when you dispatch one and you get blood in the trap, if you leave blood in the trap, it's going to be 2 or 3 nights before you catch another one. What I do to offset that is I usually bring them back to the camp or bring them back to a water hose. After I dispatch the coon, I spray the blood off of it or dip it in that well right there. Just get the blood and the scent off of it and carry it right back and set it in the woods. Now that's just me personally. It does get to be a lot of trouble, but if you only have a little bit of time to trap and you want to make the most of it, that's the way I do it. If you got plenty of time, then it's not going to matter if it takes 2 or 3 nights. Another trap is the steel trap. This is a foot trap. It catches them by their foot. This is like a size 1.5. When I was a kid, this used to be the go-to trap. Of course, not this particular brand. This is an MB5 floating around. But the Duke number 1.5 was a very popular trap. The Bridgers. You can't go wrong with them. You can set those in the creeks and do a bank set. They can be set underwater. It's good making dirt hole sets. It's good for all kind of things, but they are time consuming. Takes a little bit more effort to stake them down in the ground. So I don't really use those anymore. I will if I have to, if like on the creek doing bank sets and stuff, but I don't do a whole lot of that. What I do is I run up down the creek with these DPs. So there is another trap, and I don't have it here because I don't use it a lot. It is a cone bear trap, and it is a kill trap. What it does is they stick their head through it and it sandwiches down on them and it kills them, which is fine. And but check your local laws, state laws. It's not legal to have one of those type of traps up on the land all the time, because if you use a 330, a dog can get its head in there. People mostly use a 220 to a 160 cone bear trap. A small dog can get his head in there. You figure a coon can get in there, a small dog can too. So whatever gets in that trap is going to die. And I don't like to use those because just say, now we're on a big plot of land, but you never know where a dog's going to be. So I would hate to kill somebody's pet. I would hate somebody to kill my pet. I can't swear to this. I think you can set cone bears on land in Mississippi, but I have not read the regulations, and they change from time to time, and I have not read them in a year or so, so don't swear to that, but I don't do it. I set cone bears, I'm going to set them under the water for me. I didn't even bring one of them type of traps out. That's mostly the types that we're going to talk about. I'm not going to lie to you. If I'm going to set for coon traps, I'm going to use these 2 traps right here. I'm going to use the DP and the live traps. They're the quickest and most effective way. So that's my preference. I know a lot of people that use the foot traps, and they have their place. It's just this is just what I prefer. This is my preferred method. So y'all hang with us. We're gonna rearrange some things, and we're gonna talk about bait and what baits to use. All right, my little buddy's up here with me. He's gonna help me set these out. I'm gonna show y'all how much fun a kid can have doing this. And one thing we didn't talk about, and I'm gonna show y'all on the second part of this video, this is just a cable that I've hooked, and you can hook this around a small tree or something, and it's really quick and easy to set these things out. Another way is staking these traps. You can use anything. I got a tire tool, and I just run that through the end. I'm gonna hammer that in the ground, and it'll be staked in there. I'll go ahead and say it in case I forget it when we do it. Be careful where you stake these things. If you stake them too close to a tree, a raccoon can use, if he's got one paw caught in there and he can get to a little sapling over there, he can use his other 3 legs to pull out of there. And I've seen it happen. Now, if you do it, cable it to a tree, it's not as bad. They'll usually just climb up the tree till they get hung up somewhere. Every now and then you'll have a pull out like that, but most of the time they're gonna wrap around bushes and be right there. But when you're staking it down, just remember to stake far enough away from any little old sapling he can get and reach and pull, because coon's pretty strong. All right, now we're gonna talk about bait toys. The greatest thing about coon trapping is you can catch a coon just about on anything. Now I've got my favorite baits right here, but you can catch them on light bread with strawberry jam. You can catch them on fried chicken leg tied in the back of this live trap. You can put a piece of tin foil on one of those foot traps like I showed you a minute ago, set it underwater, and on a moonlight night, that moon will shine down that tin foil and reflect, and a coon's gonna be curious, and he'll set his paw on it and he'll be trapped. You can catch them, the supply houses and all the people that trap professionally, they have their own coon baits out, and they are a great choice. The only bad thing is you have to order it and wait for it to come in. Sometimes I'm impatient and I want to go coon trapping now. So this is some stuff you can pick up from Dollar General, Walmart, grocery store, wherever. My primary go-to bait, marshmallows. A coon has a sweet tooth. They love sweet things. If you can help it, do not buy the small marshmallows. I'm not saying that those won't catch coons, but if you're using a DP, try to use the big marshmallow, because these small marshmallows can get down in here under that trigger and beside it, and the coon can reach his paw down in there and clean that whole thing out and never trip that trigger unless he actually grabs the trigger and pulls up on it. That doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. You take a big marshmallow and stuff it on that trigger or under that trigger, he has to pull on that, and it's a big enough space, or it's big enough circumference, that when he pulls it out of there, it's gonna pull up on that trigger. It's just, it works better. I usually put a big one under the trigger, and then I'll set one on top for sight appeal. Why? Because they're nest raiders. They eat eggs. What does that look like? That looks like an egg. So you put it on top, looks like a little egg sitting there, they're coming to it. So that's my favorite bait. My next favorite bait, as far as if you want to set a big line out, like a lot of traps, like 2 or 3 dozen traps, is floating catfish food mixed with grease. And when I say grease, I'm talking about some used grease that you've cooked some fatty fish in. Just some old that you can go by the gas station and get some of theirs, and they fried a bunch of fat in it and stuff like that. And you can mix you up a big 1 gallon jar, fill it about 3/4 full. Now don't cover it, because it will dissolve. I'm just talking about putting enough in there, shake it up, and getting that grease smell in there. And then you can also use it for a trailing scent. That works real well. Another thing is I'll take sardines and pink salmon and mix them up with corn. I'll pour all the juices in there, mix it up with corn. that works really well. I catch a lot of coons and I catch a lot of possums off this. The only thing, if it is not super cold and you don't have something to preserve this, like I think it's sodium benzate, I think, I'll have to double check on that. You can get from the supply house that will preserve it and make it last longer. You need to keep this in the refrigerator. When you go set your lines, come back and keep it in the refrigerator because it will be rank. Like today it's like 79, 80 degrees. About 2 days of this and this stuff starts smelling awful. So keep it cool or you put something in it to preserve it. Next is cat food. If you can't get the catfish, floating catfish feed, this is the next best thing. And this is got salmon and chicken and turkey in it. So it's already got the fish smell in it. Plus you can add a little bit of oil to it to make it even better. So you can catch coons on literally anything. And you can go to the grocery store, you can have it that day. That's why I like to use this kind of stuff. I'm not saying the guys that do it professionally make their own bait, it's not good. It is good because I've used it. You just got to wait for it to come in. If you can pre-order it ahead of time, and you're a lot better at doing that stuff than I am, it works. There's nothing wrong with it. But these are just a few choices you can go to the grocery store, Dollar General to get, and be trapping that afternoon and catch coons the next morning. So that's going to be about it for this part. We've gone over what traps to use, what baits to use. If you don't like these baits, go to somewhere like F&T, Fur Harvesters, or Minnesota Trap Line. And like I said, go get you some of those other baits. They got it in anything from 1 pint to a gallon. They've got the crawfish oil, trailing scent, the salmon oil. Now I do like that. I have used that a lot. But again, the fish grease will work the same way. So that's just some quick tips. The second part we'll get out and we're gonna take this little dude right here and he's gonna show y'all how to set them. He's gonna show you how to hammer them in. He's gonna show you how to set the live trap. And I might see if I can actually fit him up in there. You think you can fit in there? We're gonna have a good time. But hey, y'all stay tuned for the second part and come back and see what we catch.